Now, I know for a fact that if you're a gamer and you stay open-minded to this video, that you can start making steps towards achieving your life's aspirations. Why am I so confident about that? Well, I know what it's like. I've spent 16 years of my life playing video games. And you want to know the sad thing is, I didn't realize that I had an addiction until the later years. So I want to make sure that you don't repeat the same mistakes that I made. So I'm going to share with you the 4 key reasons why gaming is ruining your life and it's preventing you from working towards your life's ambitions. So why is gaming a problem? Because surely having fun is worth it, right? Well, here's problem number 1, and that is the fun that you get from gaming doesn't actually fulfill you. I want you to think about last week. Do you still feel the same satisfaction from the games that you played last week? Now, have a think about the past month and the past year. I can tell you that I don't feel an ounce of happiness from the past 16 years of gaming that I have. Isn't that interesting? We spend all that time having fun, yet gaming hasn't improved our long-term happiness or improved our quality of life. So what we're doing is we're getting ourselves used to this level of pleasure that only lasts for a few hours. And so when the next day comes, we go back to seek that level of pleasure. We go back to that temporary source of fun. It's an endless cycle of trying to keep ourselves satisfied with no end in sight. And the sad thing is, if it does even end, we have nothing to show for it. Instead, we're stuck in this time capsule, not growing or improving ourselves, but instead investing time to level up these meaningless digital characters that are going to get deleted anyway. Life goes on, but you don't. If instead you spent your time exercising, learning a new skill, reading a book, you'd be progressing in something that would actually improve your happiness and quality of life. If you were at the gym and you built a great body that looked good, you'd feel great. If you learn how to start a business, you might have enough money to retire your family. You might even be able to spoil your friends. These are the things that never leave you, but the temporary high that you get from gaming leaves you the exact same day. So I want you to remember that when you decide to game, you are actively deciding to pass up opportunities to improve your real life for the sake of a meaningless digital character. Now, there might be some of you thinking that gaming is a good way to relax after a stressful day of work or study, but unfortunately gaming isn't the solution to your stressful day. It only robs you of the ability to solve the root cause of your stress. It's so funny that when we get stressed, we just want to escape life. But what happens is our problems either get worse or they don't go away. If you've got problems in life, figure out what those problems are and find the strategies to solve them. Don't turn to gaming. It's just going to make your problems worse. So problem number 2 is that gaming is highly addictive. It's so dangerous because it's hard to stop. Gaming releases this chemical in our brain called dopamine, which is responsible for making us feel good, and it releases dopamine in significant amounts. What this tells us is we should keep doing what we're doing, regardless of how productive the task actually is. This means that when you take a break from it, your brain is constantly telling you to keep playing games. This is why we can spend hours on hours playing games without stopping. And when we do stop and we ask ourselves why we did that, we found ourselves doing the exact same thing the next day. This is why gaming is so dangerous. Even though we don't want to spend so much time, it's so hard to stop because we're dealing with a drug. And so even though you want to be productive, your brain is going to say no. Your gaming session will go on and on until your allotted time that you set aside for study or work is completely gone. I remember back in uni, I'd tell myself I'd start studying at 2. So I'd play games, it'd be 2 o'clock, and I'd tell myself, I'll just give myself till 4. As soon as I know it's 8 p.m. and my brain is all jacked up on dopamine, then I can't concentrate on anything. And so there've been so many days where I tell myself I want to be productive, but the entire day just goes to waste. So this is the reality of gaming, and it's pretty sad. But it's also the reason why gaming has no place in your life if you have any ambitions of success. Because success requires you to sit down and do work voluntarily. How can you do that if you can't even do the work that you have to do? So problem number 3 is that gaming makes productive things less attractive. We've already talked about how gaming releases high amounts of dopamine in our brain. The unfortunate thing is that productive activities like exercise, reading a book, studying, doing work, doesn't release much dopamine at all. And in fact, we might not see dopamine from those activities until months or weeks or years down the track when we actually see the fruits of our labor. Try and have a think about the last time you thought about studying or reading a book or doing some work. Did you feel a sense of laziness? Did you have a sense of needing to drag yourself to do it? This is one of the side effects of having too much dopamine. It makes doing things in your life harder to do because they aren't as attractive to your brain. And so whilst you may have aspirations to start your new business or be the top student in class, your brain is going to say no. I remember for the longest time, I wanted to start my self-development journey and I wanted to start reading. Even once I got my first book, it was a chore to even think about having to open the book. And whilst I had the book open, I had internal tension in me. My body was itching to open up another dopamine source. I could barely concentrate for 5 minutes. How sad is that? I had aspirations of improving my life, yet something so simple as reading a book was so difficult. Now, if you find studying or reading boring or hard to do, then this video is actually speaking directly to you. Don't make the same mistakes that I did. Don't waste away your potential. If working hard for you right now is difficult, if you can make the right changes, you're going to make a world of difference in your life. Problem number 4 with gaming is that it kills ambition. You might be enjoying your gaming sessions. Things are all well and good, but is it really? I remember spending day after day being happy playing my games. I was completely oblivious to the outside world. Why would I travel the world? Why would I work towards financial freedom if I'm happy sitting in this chair right here? It was only when I started spending less time playing games that I started being exposed to what the world has to offer and started dreaming big. If all you're doing is playing games and watching videos of games, you're not going to be watching videos of the 20-year-olds that are making millions of dollars and retiring their parents. You're not going to know that you can earn a crazy amount of money and solve worldly problems. The reason why is because gaming gives you that false sense of achievement. It tricks your brain into thinking that you're progressing in real life when you unlock new items and you level up. I know what it's like, it's fun, but it totally kills your drive to achieve things in the real world. If you play games, there's a good chance that you don't spend too much time thinking about your real world future. And if you do, you probably think of, oh, I might go for that job or I might learn that new instrument. But the world is so amazing, there's so many opportunities available. You could become a world-class athlete, a musician, an actor, a CEO, a multimillionaire. But do you even think that big? Do you think you're capable of achieving those things? And do you actually work towards those things? Gaming impedes our ability to do all three. So for the past 2 years, I haven't spent a single minute gaming. It's so crazy to think that something that I did so frequently for 16 years, I don't even think about nor miss. Now, my story with gaming is extreme, but it should give you hope for 2 reasons. 1, you may not have spent as much time as me gaming, so you definitely have an opportunity to do better than me. And number 2, if I can drag myself out of a 16-year addiction, so can you. So if you enjoyed this video, look out for the next. I'll be sharing with you step by step how I got rid of my gaming addiction. If you know someone struggling with gaming, feel free to share this video. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Now, before I go, remember one thing. We only have one go at this life, you better make the most out of it.